The first workshop is merchandising for jewelry retailing, but let's not limit it to merchandising. Both of them are seasoned jewelry professionals in e-com. Amit Jalani, he's my younger brother, have been running an e-commerce jewelry website for about 8 years. Before that, he's been a consultant. We have Deepak from Gitanjali. Deepak again heads e-commerce for Gitanjali. So both of them are very seasoned professionals in e-commerce space and jewelry. So any questions you have, any ideas you have, anything you want to get out of this session, I suggest when they start, you let them know. They'll make sure that, that they deal with it. The other is, in case they have something else, I'm here. I've been in jewelry just as long as both of them. So if there's something that I can also add to it, I will be here. But anyway, let me introduce you, Amit Chalani from My Solitaire, and Deepak Tulsian from Gitanjali.
Good morning, everyone. Ashish was saying that we're not going to make it entertaining or interesting for you guys. Don't worry about that. You better stay here. There's no other track going on besides this. Deepak from Gitanjali and I will run this, but the first thing we'd like to do is ask all of you guys what you're interested in listening to us, what answers you want, what type of topics you want us to cover. So we're going to go around in the stage, in the area right now, and ask anybody who has a question, please raise your hand, so we'll get started off that way. Anyone with questions about merchandising, anything to do with jewelry, we can start off with that.
Yeah,
Can you pass a mic here, please?
Yeah, one more quick request would be, we would also like to know the background of the audience. So maybe whether you are a jewelry retailer or planning to get online, a pure play online retailer, so that we get a perspective and make the discussion more relevant to your background.
So show of hands, who is doing online retailing of jewelry? Who's a brick and mortar retailers right now? Other types of people here? First question we have right in the front.
I own a fashion jewelry brand, and looking to go online. Main question is with regards to content writing. It's always an issue with, should it be outsourced, should it be done in-house, and if you could stress on the correct ways to do content writing for online retailing of jewelry.
So I'll repeat the question as I heard it. Your question is all about content, and that there's a lot of confusion about what you should write, what you should not write on a specific piece of item that you're selling. I assume that's related to jewelry. Anybody else with other questions? I have another. Okay.
The products that are presented on the websites with the current websites that we're seeing online are primarily all CAD and Photoshop presented. Wouldn't that send a negative response to the customer once he receives the piece? Because that's primarily one of the main complaints we read online. Then the second question which I had was the amount of investments should be prioritized in the physical inventory for solving the first problem that is there, or should it be concentrated on the distribution?
So I'll repeat the question he's asked. First is about if the photography should be CAD-cammed or photoshopped, or it should be as real as possible.
Because unlike some of the other European and American brands that we see online, the majority of them are actually presenting the physical product. On the flip side here, the majority of what we see are the Photoshops.
Photoshop products,
yes.
Okay. And the second question was?
Second question was that the concentration of most of the e-tailers for jewelers here, the investments are prioritized in distribution, or how do we balance the product against the distribution expenses?
Okay. So how should you basically invest in either distribution or
is there an imbalance, or should there be an appropriate balance that could be created for the same?
So we have 3 questions so far. Any other questions? We can back again in the middle. As you can think, we'll talk about these 3 questions and other topics that we have. But we have a 4th question.
How sensitive is the customer to the pricing? That's one question. And the second one, does the EMI option given on online, does it bring in more traffic?
I think we got a very interesting group of questions. So Amit, you want to take on the content part, and then I could probably answer a couple.
So I'll answer the first question, and then Deepak can take over and interrupt me if I'm saying anything. In America, content is the key. Anything that you make, any item that you list, you have to understand the first basic art of selling online retailing is to get traffic. To get traffic today, the first and easiest part is getting search traffic. And to get search traffic, content is key. Any type of item that you want to sell, including a stud. You may say that, oh, what am I going to write about a half a carat pair of studs? But you have so much other stuff you can write about. What will a customer that is actually coming in? Most of the customers in the internet world, I would say at least in America, is around 60 to 70% come through search. So when they're searching, there's a certain type of keyword that they enter into that Google search or MSN or Yahoo. They'll write, I want half a carat pair of studs. That exact content should be somewhere on your content page. Because if you lead them to the first page of your website, most likely they will be searching and trying to figure out where is my half carat pair of studs. So more and more content that you put up and more keyword related content that you put up, but it's still keep one thing in mind, don't make your page for Google. Make your page for the customer. Because Google is not going to convert. That customer comes in, the best thing to happen to you would be that the first person comes in and the first person buys. If 2,000 people come in and only one person buys, that's not such a great model, because then that means something is wrong with your content. Deepak?
Yeah, I think that explains the importance of content, and I think you also asked whether to outsource content or keep it in-house. To answer that question, in Gitanjali, yes, we have outsourced the content writing, but also to tell you the nuances when you outsource, you have to keep a tab on the quality of the content written by your agency. So you need to have an in-house expert who understands your product, the uniqueness of your product, because the guy who is writing, you don't know what background, what qualification the person has. He might be very good at articulating, but may not know the minuteness or uniqueness of your product. So there's a joint effort needed in terms of you explaining your USPs of a product and you QCing each and every content written, because we have come across instances where if you have a volume of content to be written, for example, we have more than 25,000 SKUs. Now, if you outsource that kind of volume, there's a likelihood that there's not much differentiation in all the 25,000 SKUs. So you need to insist the agency or work closely to ensure the quality of content is unique and different. That's where it would also help in your search, the more new content that's being written. See, there are a couple of reasons. A is, do you have in-house expertise to write content? B, do you have the bandwidth to write content? And C, whether are your focus is writing content or it's a lot of parameters. For us, the focus was on brand building, focusing on marketing rather than content writing. So there are certain things which are non-core, and it's better given to the people who have expertise in that.
One of the reasons for outsourcing also is you have to see if you have that volume all throughout the year. So if you're launching 1,000 products 1 month and then another, you're not going to do it for 3 months, it doesn't make sense for you to have that content in-house. So yes, you strategize in-house, but you outsource the work to someone else because they have 5 or 10 other clients that they can use the work for. On your case, if you use them for 1 month and 3 months they're free, that's heavy cost on you.
Sure. I hope that answers your question, right? So we'll take the other question from the gentleman up there.
So the second question, as far as I remember, first we'll talk about the investment part, where you should be investing either in distribution or the product itself. Keep one thing in mind, guys, that jewelry is a very heavy investment area. So if you're physically going to stock every single product, and I might differ on what Deepak might say on this, but on us, what we do actually in America is we have certain number of SKUs that are stocked and certain number of SKUs that are made to order. And we give the specific amount of delivery time. Let's say, we'll say 2-carat pair of studs are delivered in 7 days instead of overnight delivery. We also have 9,000 to 10,000 products that are available to you for tomorrow's delivery. So those are stocked. In terms of distribution now, in America it works differently than here. We have a fulfillment center that basically ships out all throughout the night, and it's shipping day in and day out. However, besides that, we also have what we are making to order. So made to order distribution is in-house. Where do you invest? You have to, I would say, balance out and feel where your market takes you, because each segment, I feel you'll establish your niche. And you might be the best known jeweler for studs. You might be the best known jeweler for jarao, or you might be the best known jeweler for something else. And that niche you might have to stock. Because if you stand back and say, I'll deliver everything in 30 days, people are not willing to wait. Some people say, oh, you know what, I don't have anything in stock. It might be a good strategy profitable-wise, but sooner or later someone else might take over that category very easily and say, I'll stock everything. Because it's all about investment at a certain point, but balancing that investment as well. Where do you balance it? Again, you have to target what your niche is about.
Yeah, I agree with Amit. Jewelry is a very capital intensive category. So you need to balance your investment, and that how do you decide where to invest more? Depends on what is your strategy. How are you going to differentiate yourself? So there could be a strategy where you say fastest service is my differentiation factor. I can service in 2 days time. Like in our website, we communicate we will deliver in 1 week from order to delivery. If you go to Tanishq, I believe they write 15 days delivery time. Go to 21 Diamonds, they say 2 to 3 weeks. So I believe each one has a unique positioning in terms of where they want to focus. So distribution, if that's your strength, you are sitting on inventory and you have a good tie-up with logistic players, either your own or partnered, you can pitch there. But for jewelry retailing, I would say the product image plays a 50% of the deciding role, because that's in online there's no human touch who is explaining or assisting the customer while shopping. So the product picture makes a lot of role. And to give you some experience, like how we went ahead and spend on photography, when we did some research as to how much people are spending on photography, we came across the 50 rupees photography you can spend per image, but there are also companies who are spending a couple of thousand per image. So you can have 7, 8 shots for each piece. There's no end to it. Someone is doing 360 degree. If you look at US market, there are more advanced photography available. But I think you need to draw a line as to what is the volume of business you're doing, and balance your investment. How much you want to spend on photography, or the width in the number of SKUs that you're showing. So your investment is actually spread across SKUs.
I'm going to add to the photography issue. Now, in America, we spend, he's saying 50 rupees here, we spend $35 an image there. So you can see the difference. Is there a difference in quality? Definitely. A lot of people recently, we've seen that they've turned to CAD CAM total. There's no actual physical product being pictured. It's all CAD CAM. Now, have they succeeded? There's a company by the name of JamesAllen.com. He's one of the largest players in online and engagement rings today in America. He's actually just doing CAD CAM images. However, he's succeeded. When we tried to do it at My Solitaire, we did not succeed, because we had tons of SKUs that were actual physical images, and when we started doing CAD CAM, it did not sell at all because people felt they were too fake. Now, will it work in India? Will it not work in India? Quite honestly, I do not know, but I honestly believe that you should do physical photography, and photography is probably, I would say, 50% of anyone's, 50 to 90% of any consumer that comes in and actually even has an inclination to buy. Forget about the website look and feel, flash. A lot of people I see are doing crazy types of things. Basic website will sell, with good photography will sell. You have to make sure that you have maybe a model wearing it, so sometimes you can see the length of a product, or how it looks on a finger, or it might be in an earring or something. The more real you make it, the less amount of returns you're going to get. Because if you get more returns, your profit percentage will go down tremendously, and you'll be stuck with a lot of inventory that you'd never thought about to have.
Just want to add with one example of how photography can make a difference. As we go along the session, you would see what other attributes are important along with image, the content, there's a description of a product, there's a lot of supporting thing, packaging or certificate, especially for jewelry, that you need to show along to make a purchase decision. But photography alone, as I said recently, that 50% of the purchase decision happens only from the photography. A live example of that, Gitanjali does a lot of newspaper advertisement. And there are a lot of product which we advertise in newspaper do not go with the content or description or the price or even the style code, nothing, just an image with a celebrity, and we sell a lot of those jewelry just because of the picture. We get a lot of inquiry in our call center, I would like to buy that particular jewelry which was advertised on Times of India. So just a photography can help you, good image can make you sell.
And depending on which category you're targeting or niche you're targeting, your photography should be according to that. Recently in America, as they innovate and as the world innovates, recently someone had shown to me that out of a cell phone, a mobile phone, you will be able to, I think on an iPhone or something, you'll be able to actually get a 3D rendering of an image popping out and showcasing that ring itself. Now, keep in mind, innovation will occur in India as well, and people will demand that innovation, and people will demand higher-end images and higher-end two-way. If they're not feeling that product, you have to get as close to making them feel the product, some way, somehow, some way, or the other. Have we answered your question on that? The last question that we had was, does EMI help with your purchase? Unfortunately, I'm not knowledgeable about EMI here, so I'll let Deepak take that over.
Yeah, currently we have, let's say 6 months EMI in our own website, so I can talk from our perspective. We do see higher value products moving faster through EMI, and it helps you to push, your average ticket price up. And of course, you can have a mixed strategy. There are companies who do EMI which is absolutely free, but at times you can also charge, and there would be people willing to pay for that extra charge for that EMI. So it definitely helps in more conversion and increasing your ASP.
So actually, Amit, obviously you can tell he doesn't know much of the Indian landscape. So when you say EMI, he did not understand. But we did have EMI at Myasauter. Okay, we called it a payment plan. Okay, so the difference was that we called it a payment plan, and it made a huge difference. Let's just put it this way: if you're willing to, like Deepak said, fund it for no percentage to the customer, believe me, you will have a lot more sales. You will have a larger price point of those sales. But question remains is how much funds do you have? And one gentleman asked about investment. Now, so again, this is one of those investments. Where do you make that investment? Then your second part of your question was pricing. And I'll let them answer, but I'll just quickly say that today, India runs on that pricing mechanism. Okay? Abroad, we don't run on that pricing mechanism, at least not in the luxury goods. You have jewelry players that do compete on price, but the problem is they're quickly taken over by another competitor that offers whatever, 50 cents less. It doesn't really matter because the customer that's coming to them, 50 cents is enough for them to go away. The other side, for us, we actually transformed our company to be more price insensitive. Okay? Our product sells for more than the competitor because of everything that they're saying that we do. So again, we don't want, so the competition has nothing to compare to us when it comes to price. So again, price can be done both ways. These guys can add to it, but for us, we run in price insensitive model. So we actually sell something that somebody else sells for more. So again,
I'll add to that for 1 second. What he was saying is that we sell for more. We actually look at an Amazon or an eBay or whoever's selling over there, and if a product is selling for $99, we actually make our product $299 based on the margin or something. See, there has to be a differentiating point. People don't understand. A consumer doesn't really understand कि half carat का इतना ही बिकना चाहिए. People don't understand. People don't have the time to understand. But if you can differentiate, and we offer a certificate, whereas Amazons or the eBays of the world don't offer a certificate. We offer a jewelry cleaning cloth with every purchase a day. We offer a shopping bag. So we give them other things that they're not going to get other places, but the people are willing to pay us almost. Deepa can add on that.
Yeah. See, especially in a category like jewelry, which is not a known value product, unlike a mobile phone, where you can compare the like-to-like price in different websites. Jewelry is very difficult. You will see the same design in multiple websites, and you can actually compare like-to-like. So we deal in branded jewelry, so all our prices are consistent across offline stores as well as online. And we really don't see price being a deterrent for online sale. There are customers who look for discounts, but we do have promotion periods in our offline stores, and the same promotion we offer in our online store. And discounting has not been main driver for our sales. So we are able to sell at full price, and we see decent business there.
What you take out of that is don't base your businesses on that price. Okay? There should be other differentiation points. Okay? As long as, even in jewelry, and jewelry especially now, Gitanjali sells branded products, right? For us, as My Solitaire has become somewhat of a brand, but it's not a brand like Gitanjali. For us, the differentiation at times was the design itself. Okay? So when a person has to compare, maybe they can compare Gitanjali's product offline and online. Ours, there is no comparison. It's the design, it's the look, and what we say the product is, and that's what sells. So price never plays a role when there is nothing to compare it to.
But again, it also depends on which area you're targeting. Price is a factor in the low end. If you're selling a very low end type of an item, it does become an issue. And if it's not really just, it doesn't differentiate on any other point just by price, quite honestly, I feel that's it's not a great strategy, because someone else will come in and copy your product and make it cheaper than you. There's no end to the price game in the world.
I think one more thing, what is important for price is not just discounting. Price is also to be looked at from, do you have the all price points? The sweet spots, if you see, of jewelry retailing online. For fashion jewelry, the sweet spot could be different. Fine jewelry, it's different. For solitaires, it's again different. So you need to be present in each of the price points, because customers do have a budget in which they're looking for. So having a varied price range would also help you in increasing sales.
And each website eventually evolves into an area. You'll see if you're running an online website right now, you'll see each website starts to become a unique identity. And every area you'll see, you might be doing better in 1,000 rupee to 2,000, and obviously there's a mass market which is 500 rupee to 1,000 rupee, but you might not want to be in that market. Any other questions?
Hi, I'm Samir. I take care of shopperstuff.com. Just extension to what Deepak was saying about the promotion strategy. The challenge what normally we face is like customer in India are still not, they are aware about the perceived value. So if I put a product at 25,000 at full MRP, a customer may not show his interest. But if I put a 50,000 MRP and your price is 25,000, that 50% off or some 30-40% off, I see a good traffic, good hit, people visiting on the PDP pages and spending a decent amount of time just because of the pricing, just showing off the discounts and all that. How do you handle such situation to, it's unfortunate that in India the people are not convinced with the perceived value, but only of discount percentages.
I think Deepak can answer that greatly as well, but I feel that it all depends on the brand, what the image of that brand is. A lot of brands in America will never do a discounted price. Their retail price is $100 and it'll stay $100 at the store and it'll stay $100 over there. Does not matter if the other similar product but without a brand name is doing something else. It all depends on the brand. Like we do exactly what you're saying in America, which is offer it at a certain price and then give a discount. However, you have to understand that jewelry is also a seasoned business, right? कि इधर तो दिवाली पे बिकता है. In America, it's all about Christmas and Valentine's and other stuff. Throughout the year, there's consistent sales, but big sales, huge amounts of sales occur in Christmas and Valentine's Day. So when it comes to the Christmas season, people are expecting that discount. जब इधर दिवाली आएगी, तो they're expecting that discount. So are you going to be able to even further discount what you have already listed? So you always have to keep that in mind before starting off with a discount, because it starts seeming like you're going out of business if you start doing 90% off, right? So you don't want to get 50% off or 75% off in the beginning, because in Diwali time, what are you going to do then? Right? Deepak can answer a little bit better for here.
Yeah, I think it's a very good question. As a retailer, you always you want to increase sales, and you think by discounting you might be able to attract customers who are looking for a discount and will be able to sell. So I don't know if I have a right answer to that, but I will share my experience how we tried to experiment various ways and see what is working, what is not working. One thing we noticed is once you start discounting brands, there are a lot of brands, I may not want to take names, they're doing 40-50% sale throughout the year. So what happens is you will never be able to sell at a full price, because the customer by default would expect 40% discount from your brand. So do you want to get increasing sales at the cost of discounting your brand itself? So that's a big question. Now I agree to Amit when he says there are occasions like there's a Christmas in US, which is very big. In India it could be Diwali, it could be Akshay Tritiya or Valentine's, which is coming. Those are the times where consumers have a mindset to buy, and that's the time if you run some offer or discount, you can trigger higher amount of conversion. But throughout the year, if you are doing the discount to convert, you would actually end up killing your brand. So that's one. B, what we also tried doing is there are a lot of jewelry which are relatively slow movers. So what we did is we had a small assortment of jewelry, let's say couple of 100 designs, which we discount and put up in a best deal section. So this strategy has worked with us, because even though we have, let's say 500 designs sitting in a section, best deal section, flat 20% off, we see still 90% business coming from the full price products. So that tells us there are customers who are ready to pay you full price for the designs they love to buy, rather than buy something which is in discount. So I think it's a mix of both. There are both type of customers available.
I'm going to add a little thing to that. In America recently, there's been a horde of new websites coming, which are called flash deals or deal of the day websites that have done fantastic. Now, we're actually in the middle of implementing that on My Solitaire, but we're doing it a little bit differently, where we're going to offer one product every day that is a flash deal or a deal of the day, and that's actually going to be a money-losing proposition for us. But what we are thinking is that more and more people will come and check out each day our website. So you're going to gain traction based on that. Now, every day, agar koi aayega, to kabhi na kabhi to kuch khareedta hi hai. You know, they'll end up buying. Maybe they don't like the flash product, but they're thinking that they're eyeing a specific product that they like. They're trying to figure out if you'll ever discount it. And that might be a new way of in India to sell as well, your discounted products instead of discounting the whole website. Any other if you do not discount your bestsellers, again, bestsellers are for us are automated, right? So the system basically generates whatever the best-selling product. Do we ever discount them? Yes, they do, because they automatically become a bestseller on our website in itself. Will it affect it negatively? Again, you want to strategize on that also, because if you want everything in your bestsellers to be your only discounted, that means your fully priced products are not selling at all. But for us, what's worked has been certain products that you might lose money on a couple of times of the year, but they gain traction and the people keep coming back, and finding a matching ring to that or matching pendant to that might be your actual money-making business instead of selling that single product. We have a question right there.
Rather, I would just disagree on one point that jewelry. What we have seen is it's just a planned buy, and throughout the year you'll have anniversaries, you'll have birthdays, you'll have other set of things. So what we have seen is when a customer, moreover, when a customer, or maybe if in case I see myself as a customer, I will have a fixed price in mind when I'm maybe gifting it to my wife or my mother. So there is an emotional sentiment attached, which again, looking at the nature which is planned by and not an impulse buy, uh, throughout the year there is a scope. And if we are only focusing on maybe a Diwali or maybe a Valentine's Day, then there would be 10 more different companies who would be offering the products at a deep discount. And the mindset of Indian customers are such that, okay, my budget is 13,000. Now this brand is giving me 8% discount, this brand is giving me a 15% discount, but this brand is giving me a 50% discount. So let's go in for a 50% discount, because the perceived value, as he rightly said, is much more higher. So for a 50,000 product, I'm getting it for 25,000. And what customers also get attracted is through the high resolution image. So maybe once they receive the product, and the actual product which is received and what they have seen would vary, and we don't have a support exchange policy in fine jewelry. So maybe this is what is my opinion and my observation.
You're totally correct that it's not, first of all, it's not only a seasonal business. Seasonal business is where 30 to 40% of your revenue will end up coming from. But there's also 60% that happens throughout the year. You're totally correct on that, and you're totally correct that people are budget. They come up with a budget of 50,000 and they'll buy a specific product that focuses on. How do you capture that is based on some of the things that you mentioned. It might be 50% off, or it might be a fully priced product because, for example, I just went shopping right before coming to India. I actually went and bought a fully priced product because it was a branded product and I liked it, and it was not on sale. But I wanted something that I needed at that time, and then I bought it. Would that ever be on a sale? Yes. But again, you have to capture the market at the time the customer needs, right? So I needed a product at that day, and I bought it at full price.
Yeah, I actually have a difference in opinion there. When you say there are important occasions in people's life, whether it's a birthday or anniversary, and it's a very emotional decision, it's a planned purchase, I think that's where there's also opportunity to encash a full price sale. Because if someone is planning to gift someone important in life, he's not necessarily looking at discount first. He's probably looking at something that will create the most impression. So I think that's where you need to leverage a good branded product, a good design, and try to sell a full price rather than do a 50% discount and encash that customer.
We had another question.
Hi.
The extension to that question was, we don't have a support exchange policy, which means that once the product is received, looking at the high resolution image, I make the decision to purchase the product.
Now, that's more of a business policy. Like in America, we have a return policy. We also have an exchange policy. Most of the Indian online destinations I see is very little of that going on because it's a COD model, cash on delivery model. But I assume cash on delivery also would, if the person doesn't like it at that instance, they will send it right back to you. So the question comes back to that image that you've shown them. Now, as real, as good as possible will limit all of these issues in terms of even an exchange. Will it still happen? Yes. And that as a business policy decision, you have to look at a certain percentage. Kitna percentage aayega saal mein, and you'll have to experiment within your customer base and make a decision based on that.
Okay, Amit, hi. This would be more as a personal question. Why are you not in India? I mean, I know Deepak ji, Gitanjali is so aggressive in India. I mean, what is the right time to start in India? I mean, that's the question.
You know, if you talk to my brother, we've been discussing this for about a year now. And why are we not here? Quite honestly, the basic reason was all of these problems that everyone is facing here is the problem that I'm going to face also. COD, to me, COD is a very big problem. However, the market is so small at this time. Right now, and you'll see us up live in the next 6 months here in India as well. But the reason I'm actually now very excited about India is because people are starting to understand that there is an internet market here. Carrot Lane has established itself. Gitanjali has established itself in certain realms and certain niches. There's thousands, and I was talking to many people here of where certain niches might be. And if you can establish right now, keep in mind it's very tough to break in any category unless you're very innovative. Yes, you can do it later on, but if you can establish your name, your image, your brand at the moment where very few players are in there, even a certain niche. If you're trying to be a mass market, right? Mass market is a totally different ballgame. You have the Amazons of the world and the Gitanjalis and very large players. There's so many categories within jewelry that if you can establish yourself and you can become a niche player, right now is the time to be. Will you lose money? Quite honestly, at the moment, I feel in the beginnings, a couple of months, yes, you will. However, if you can streamline your cost and stay afloat and start getting traction in the search world and in the online world, you can become a very large player in the years to come. We believe that jewelry is going to be the top 3 players in the next 5 to 10 years and explode in growth this way. It's not going to be a climb that's going to be a slow climb. It's going to grow this way.
My name is Ganesh Gautam, and I just want to understand, while you are planning for a new SKU to be added to your portfolio, so what is the time period that you take into account, that you will be keeping this SKU for how long? What is the kind of depth that you go in for? One. Secondly, do you think that by decreasing the life cycle of an SKU, if we say that if you today plan an SKU on our site for 6 months, and the inventory management, what I do now for it, and if you reduce it from 6 months to 3 months or 2 months, and I get a new inventory on a new SKU, will it help me to make a customer understand that this is available right now and will not be available at a discount time? So I might change the perception of a consumer which is there today, that not to buy today, discount mein to aayega hi tab kharid lenge. So will it help, or this can be a way of changing a market, or no?
What we do, and Deepak and I were discussing, is we've actually built an algorithm to filter all of these issues out. You're going to see over time that we have, I think, currently 23,000 SKUs on our website. Of that, though, you'll see every day certain ones disappear and certain ones come back as well. The algorithm that we built, and it's a very good question, because we faced that the first couple of years and we were having lots of problems, and kabhi nikal do to kabhi wapas dalo to abhi bikta hai, kabhi nahi bikta. So, that algorithm has so many factors associated with it. But will it help? Yes, it does help, because a customer always likes to see something new, first of all. However, you also have to keep in mind that you don't want to take out certain times your best seller, right? Because certain people get referred. A lot of people in jewelry are in just Mr. Bakshi was saying, bhed chal, right? Ki ek jana leta hai, and someone sees it wearing it, and by any chance they say where they bought it from, your friend will also buy it. And you don't want to lose that sale as well, because that referral business is going to be your most profitable business. But you'll have to balance out exactly when you want to take it off, when you don't want to take it off. For us, it's all the best part it's based off of is the number of sales that we get with divided by the number of days that we've listed the product.
What is the lifespan that we for an SKU to be there on the site?
We have certain products that have been there for 7 years. So that can answer some of your questions, but Deepak might have an opposite view on it.
Correct. See, I think more than geographical differences, I would say it's based on the nature of the category. Within jewelry, the fashion jewelry may behave differently versus fine jewelry or diamond jewelry. So fashion jewelry, you may want to churn new designs faster because people buy them more frequently. But diamond jewelry, you may not have people buying every month. So they're actually not coming every month and watching for new designs. So I think you do need to bring new designs at a particular pace. I cannot say a lifespan for diamond jewelry, but as you said, it can go up to 7 years. We do have some designs which are there for more than 5 years. But yes, nothing less than 1 or 2 years. They have to be there in the portal.
For example, basic studs, basic engagement rings, 4-prong engagement rings, there's no change, right? You cannot innovate more and more. I mean, maybe the prong code, you make it a V prong or something like that, but very few products of the basic nature will change, and they'll remain there forever, quite honestly. The fashion-oriented products, ki design-based hai, jo only designs are based, those you may see certain products that are going to be great sellers, and certain products will never sell.
Compared to the bigger players, small ones are always faced with the dilemma of budgeted ad spend. And what I want to know is, where is your online customer coming from? Is it from metros? Is it from B towns? Or so that we have a better insight into where to focus our campaigns.
Good question. See, we looked at last, let's say, 1 year data of customers, geography from where they're coming. It's 50% from the top 10 cities in India, and 50% from, it could be tier 2, 3, or even very small place like Kalahandi in Orissa. It's one of the top 10 most backward villages in India. There's a guy from there has bought a 35,000 Nakshatra Mangalsutra. So he took 2 hours to do the transaction over the phone, first time doing a transaction, borrowed his father's SBI debit card and did a transaction. There are customers sitting every corner of India, but I guess 50% business comes from top 10 cities. And if you look at not only jewelry, other category online retailers, in my interaction, I've seen more or less the same pattern, 40-50% business from the top cities coming, and 50% from the tier 2, 3 cities. And I see going ahead, it would be more of tier 2, 3 cities than the top 10 cities.
I have one more question, which is related to sales pitch. If you have the data, that is, to tell whether the jewelry being bought is for self-use or mostly for a gifting purpose, are you able to tell that?
Yes.
So, because that directly affects the sales pitch that we are pitching to the customer.
Correct. See, in our website, we have a feature of leaving a personalized message. And there's obviously 2 columns to put in your address. One is the buyer's address, and second is the shipment address. Where do you want the shipment to go? So from there, we make out around 40 to 50% of the transactions in our website are for gifting purpose.
Capturing as many data points about a customer should be one of your key points on selling jewelry here. See, when you learn their birthday, their anniversary, kis reason se kharid rahe hain, they might be getting married, they might be getting engaged. You know a certain thing about them now. And if you can refer back to them in a personalized manner and through your email or through the phone, and if you can capture that data from the first time that they come in, and the way we do that, we also have sweepstakes. Ki kuch win karenge if you tell me your birth date and your email address. So we know that customer has a certain thing coming up. Their birthday is one of the biggest things that we try to capture. Or are they married, or when their anniversary date is. क्योंकि उस टाइम पे अमेरिका में गिफ्टिंग होती है, इधर दिवाली पे होती है या दूसरी जगह भी होती है, लेकिन if that data points, if you can start capturing, slowly and slowly you build a huge database of customers that you know a lot of information about, and you can run multiple types of campaigns to capture the customer.
Hi, I'm Bhavesh. Basically, now when a customer comes online, it's all about discovery. And my question is that how many products on a page should we list? Because if we list, say, on a line 4, 5, and there is a huge list which is coming down, it looks ugly. It doesn't look clean. When it comes to jewelry, we have to show the image. So what is the right way? Because Google says you should not list more than 12 products if you want to be SEO, if it is SEO-centric page. So how do we do that? Because in mobiles it's different. In jewelry, what exactly is the right way to do it?
You mentioned 2 things there which is very critical. One is SEO, and second is actually how many should you list. Now, keep in mind you have to balance this. The customer doesn't want to see even 12 more than likely sometimes. But however, sometimes the customer actually wants to see everything. So you must have that view all thing working on your page as well, because it's easier to see everything on one page and they just take a mouse and click all the way down and browse it very quickly. People don't have the patience, right, as a consumer. However, for SEO, that's not a great thing. There's too much on a page. So you have to make a balance, and 12, there's no set number. Certain brands have only 5 products in a page because they want to only sell those types of products, and then they'll show the next. Like Tiffany's is a prime example. If you ever go Tiffany's website, they only show like 5 or 6 products on their major pages, and then they take you in internally, and then you can see a lot more projects if you see view all. But there's no real कि 12 product होने चाहिए, 20 products होने चाहिए. You should limit it. You should not have a lot, maybe 15 or less. However, make sure you have that view all button on that page, on every single page.
I think I would just draw an analogy with the offline retail. If you walk into a jewelry store, the way the product discovery happens is the customer either has a budget in mind, or probably he knows that he wants a ring or a earring or a pendant. So he narrows down to a pendant section, and then probably he tells, okay, I have a budget of this. Then he further narrows down to a section, and within that section finally he goes to a counter. And I believe those of you who are from jewelry industry would see in a jewelry counter there would be 20 to 40 spread of jewelry. So if you take that same analogy back to online, and if you are able to help the customer filter down, and the various filter options, so that he can narrow down his budget, his category, or maybe the brand wise, whichever wise he wants to narrow down, and finally in that page 20 to 40 whatever number of pieces you can show should be a decent assortment for him to make a purchase decision.
From your experience, which marketing campaign did well for online business?
I'll start. I mean, quite honestly, the best and best performing for any online website still today is SEO-based campaigns. If you can hire anybody to do a good job in SEO, that traffic translates into much higher ROI than any other thing that can ever do. Besides that, in America, Google's AdWords are by far the best performing area, even more than email campaigns today, even more than affiliate marketing, even more than any other Facebook marketing or anything else. Google AdWords still continues. However, I have recently seen in the last 2 years that social media has started to come and take its role.
Yeah, I would say from a short-term point of view, immediately if you want returns, Google AdWords is a great tool. And if you want to build cost-effective long-term model, SEO is the place. The other thing which is showing good traction is remarketing. People who have visited your website, jewelry as you see is a high price product. A lot of visitors come and they don't shop on the first visit. So remarketing would be a very cost-effective tool where you chase the customer throughout whichever website he is visiting, and the chances of conversion goes up.
Question here?
2 questions for Mr. Deepak. One, on your online site, are the prices linked to bullion prices, or are they on MRP?
They're all MRP based, except gold coins, which are.
So then, if it's on MRP, then I would gain more from shopping online than offline?
It's the same price, offline or online. It's a branded product, so we don't differentiate on pricing.
Offline, you link it to that day's gold price, right?
No. It's all MRP based. Except there's a gold jewelry, which we don't list online, because then it has to be linked with gold prices.
Right.
So our focus is on pushing more MRP based product.
Okay. Second question, if you have inventory of everything that you show on the site, why does it take so long for you to ship? You said it's a week's time.
Yeah, see, when we started saying 2 weeks of shipment, and slowly we came to 1 week of shipment. We are still fighting in our process systems, tying up with more logistic partners who have better expertise to bring it down to 3-4 days time. But what we noticed is it's always better to have a bigger spread, say 1 week or 2 weeks, and deliver within time, than try to beat the guys like Flipkarts or Mintras and say 48 hours, and then actually take 1 or 2 days more time. Because especially in jewelry, as I said, 40-50% of for gifting purposes, if someone is gifting his wife or friend or someone for a birthday or anniversary, you really don't want to miss that particular day. So it's very important to under promise and over deliver.
Yeah, basically I would like to know, we've been in offline retail for 20 years. This is our 20th year in operations in artificial jewelry. And now, just 2 months back, we've started with the e-commerce website and everything. But I don't really know how much budget do I allot to do all the marketing that everybody's talking about, like SEO or CRM or web engage, what is they're saying outside, or procurement management and all these things? Because frankly speaking, I'm not getting that kind of a great response, because maybe something is wrong on my side, or something is a visibility problem or something. So I don't really know what kind of a marketing budget to allot simply for the e-commerce purpose, because retail quantities are shooting up on a monthly basis, and e-commerce quantity, because it's small, the tendency is to ignore the e-commerce operation, because let's just focus on retail. Retail is giving us good revenue, let's just keep e-commerce separate. So what kind of marketing support should I keep in mind? What kind of budget should I
You're in the same role that I was in 7 years ago when we started. We don't want to lose money, but at the same time, we know there's a business out there that's always going to grow. What we did, basically, we took a small amount of money that we were making in another area, like you're making in retail, and we put it towards that is going to be at least consistent. You want to be present, at least in some form or shape, especially if you want to be a key player in that area. So you want to have some sort of consistency. However, what we ended up doing is that seasonal time, when there was actually more shoppers, we would up our budget and then see the performance. Now, seeing that performance might not mean just ki kitna profit aaya. Seeing the performance also means analyzing each and every entry point in your website, and kuch bhi ho sakta hai, your shopping cart might not be working or something else. So I would install Google tool. There's, I forget, the Google Analytics, where you can basically see every single point. And then slowly and slowly you'll see people will start converting. The market in India currently is very small. However, it's going to grow, and you want to be there. At least it might be a money-losing proposition for the first couple of months, first 6 months, but you will more than enough make up for that in the next 5 years. You have to have a little bit longer time horizon than an immediate gratification.
See, in terms of amount of money, how much you want to invest in marketing depends on what kind of business plan you have, what business volume you want to reach online. But to give you a ratio, in jewelry, if you spend X amount, initially you will not get 4x, 5x sales. So you might get 2x sales. So you need to decide whether that 2x sale is profitable for you. Obviously, if it's not, then can you increase more spend, because it would still give you 2x. Increasing more sales may not give you multiplier effect in your sales unless the website is optimized, the images are done well, the proposition is right, the content is there. A lot of factors play a role, not only marketing. Marketing will only help you get the traffic in your online store. But once the conversion rate you have to map, are you able to increase the conversion rate by having the right products in the pages, by doing the right things? Till that time, you should be cautious about the volume of money that you're spending. But you monitor that multiplier effect, your marketing spend versus sales. In the moment you are able to reach 3x or let's say 4x, which is more than your gross margin, you can significantly increase your spend, because now you are getting positive gross margin dollars. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I just wanted your opinions. Does it make sense selling gold coins online? Because margins being very tight, shipping costs remain constant, your SEO, SEM spend doesn't make sense. So I just wanted your opinion on this.
See, you want to first?
We don't sell gold coins, so Deepak can answer that.
Yeah. See, we do sell gold coins, and they form, let's say, 15-20% of the business. They will give you good volume, and obviously there's a pros and con. If you are evaluating how much did I spend to acquire that customer, and I sold one gold coin, did I make profit? Obviously, you will never make profit by selling gold coin. But look at it from the other point of view. The customer would have come and anyways left without shopping anything. Gold coin is a product which is
highly acceptable.
You can compare the price. You know the gold price today, because how much differentiation you can do in a gold price. At the end, it's a commodity. You have probably branded by putting a brand name to it, but you have not changed in terms of putting designs to it or something. The value add is very limited. So it's at the end a commodity. The kind of premium you can sell on a gold coin is less. So customers do understand, they can validate by checking the gold price and your price. So they see there's not much of a price difference, the conversion is higher. So you would end up acquiring customers who may not want to buy a high price 20,000 rupees jewelry. I'll tell you why gold coin. You can instead sell silver coin as well, because that's where we introduced very recently, and we are surprised with the number of silver coins we are selling. So silver coin is a very low price product, 700, 750 bucks, you get a 10-gram coin. So people are more easily able to spend that, and you acquire your first customer with that. Don't look at it from profit point of view, but you are making customers who may come back again and shop.
Okay, is it advisable to do COD on gold coins?
So if you want, it depends, if you want to take that risk. We don't do COD on gold coins, but there are companies who are doing COD.
By the time it gets rejected and comes back, the prices are very different.
So I mean, it's by itself a very thin margin category. Further, by doing COD, you ruin your margins further. So it's completely depends on the strategy. There are companies who are doing COD on gold coins. The strategy is to acquire customers. If you see the other companies that are discounting 20%, 30% and selling, they're anyways eroding their margins. So while doing COD also, if they are able to acquire a customer, that's good, but depends on individual strategy.
With your experience, what would be the percentage of fraud orders in jewelry, buying jewelry? Because that's something which would attract most of the fraudulent customers.
Correct. See, you're right. Jewelry is a category where you can expect higher number of fraud orders, and we have a very strong mechanism internally where the team is trained to check the details of customer wherever they find it susceptible. So there are payment gateways who alert us that this order you want to verify the customer with asking for credit card details, ID proof and others. And there are customers which we have over a period built database. We know they are fraud customers, they keep transacting every month and we don't deliver.
You have to build in a certain percentage that will still fall through the cracks. We've been around 7 to 8 years in America, and it still falls through the cracks. It's very difficult to control that. Yes, we've actually declined the number of fraud orders on our website, but still, certain percentage you always have to build in.
Just to put a number, out of the online business that we do, not a 0.1% of orders are fraud. So not even 0.1% of transacted and fulfilled orders are fraud. So there have been very less chargebacks given by payment gateways to us.
So you receive the order but you are not fulfilling it?
Yes. So we do the filtration, but out of the fulfilled orders, there's a very less chargeback. So actually your risk can be covered if you do a proper scrutiny of the background of the customer.
With our experience, I would say that 90% of our orders that we've received till date for gold coin were fraud.
But have you fulfilled that?
The numbers, no. We were able to.
So you have a mechanism to filter out. That's what he's saying. So if you have a strong mechanism to filter that out, you will get fraud orders. Don't take this the other way. You'll get a lot of fraud orders especially the beginning years of your operation. You'll get tons. Quite honestly, I'll tell you a true story. The first order we ever got and shipped was fraud. So we learned our lesson because we were so excited we shipped it. But we have another question here.
Let me just add to that. So the other thing is technologically over time, we've also built a lot of things onto the website. Okay, so today some of the things get caught right there. Forget the filtration by manual people. We actually have built it there so that they don't even come. Okay, so over a year we've learned that hey, if it's coming from a set of IPs at an X location, we just don't even process those or have them flagged originally from that time. So fulfilling doesn't even come in question because it'll just be flagged as a fraud order from the beginning.
The debate always remains that when we are talking about specific to gold coins, okay, which are again carrying some value which the customer can again go back, the fraud customer can go back and encash on that. So is it the right decision to have all
So again, it all depends on what your customer acquisition cost you want it to be, right? So if gold coin is the cheapest way to acquire that customer, and even if taking out the 90%, the cost of acquisition is still low enough, with that 10%, then still do it. That's the real answer. So you'll have to make that determination if that customer acquisition cost is low enough for you.
We have one point. Sorry, Amit, I probably need to answer a little more to convince him. And now probably a little bit of trade secret I would have to reveal to give you better insight. See, selling gold coin to individual customer is not profitable. But when we list, we do get a lot of corporate orders. So there's a bulk orders that we get, multiples of kg, by listing in a website, because there are also corporates who are coming in. There are a lot of social events, people do return gifts as gold coins. We got a lot of big bulk social orders as well. So, and not to forget that you have a database of customers who have bought so far from you. So you know their background, and they are also shopping gold coin. So if you look at the positive side, you can make money. But yes, out of the new orders, each and every gold coin that we sell, we ask for verification. So we don't ship without any verification, especially for gold coin.
We're running out of time, so any more questions? Yes, one.
No, even paid ones. Yeah, the payment gateways reserves the right to put your charge back if the original holder of the credit card complains that it was not him who did the transaction, someone else did the transaction using his card.
That does not matter. They have the right to take the money away from your account. Anytime you process any transaction, does not matter. Even COD is probably not a big fraud area actually. However, if in COD you're accepting checks, I don't know how COD works in India, but if there's any check transactions, that can bounce also. But in payment gateways, they have the right to take the money away from your account, even if you did everything correctly. For any reason whatsoever, if the customer comes back and says he is unhappy even with the product, the credit card companies or any payment gateways will take the money away from your account. You have a running account. So it doesn't matter if you did everything correctly, they might. However, that happens if you are in conversation with the customer and your customer service is good, that will not happen. We've learned over time that your customer service has to be good so that you limit any of these kinds of transactions also. That's still not safe.
I think there are two scenarios. Yeah, there are the payment gateways. They ask you to get those details, submit it to them, and they will verify and they will tell you yes, go ahead. And there are times even after giving those, they will let you take the final call, and that's the time it's your risk.
We have a question here.
Yeah. We all talk about e-commerce site, and there's one most important stuff that we say, that's
stickiness of the site. Okay.
And we also believe that we should have communities. We should build a community of our own customers. And we do not see jewelry e-commerce sites build a lot of communities of the customers. So what do you have to say on
I think that community building, or what we actually call it, is brand building, right? That brand is remembered. For example, Blue Nile has done a fantastic job of competing in America and charging ridiculously higher prices than anybody else. And their community or their brand it's all about that I bought a Blue Nile piece. I bought, over here in India, there might be I bought a Tanish piece, I bought an Aura piece, or something like that. And you have to slowly capture that and let them stay within your realm. Now, obviously you cannot cater to every single occasion that they need to buy jewelry, maybe you can. But you want to be there in front of them anytime they need it. They will first ask you and then go to another shop. But building that community is a key factor in getting repeat business. And repeat business will be the most profitable business for you guys.
Is there, just a quick question along those fraud prevention lines. Is there insurance available in India that can tackle fraud, credit card fraud?
Not that we have come across yet.
In America, there is, and you can get protection from companies. However, what we've seen is that if you do a good job internally, you don't need to spend, and usually the insurance is around 2 to 3%, and usually your fraud orders will be less than 2 to 3% of your business, so you can actually end up saving by not getting that insurance.
I'm a technology provider. I need to know whether the normal shopping carts or the front end or the back end softwares should be someone who is setting up a online shop for jewelry. Should he go in for these ready-to-use applications, or should one go for to build in an application for himself?
Okay, right after this, we also have a technology jewelry panel coming up. But your question basically refers to the shopping cart, if we should have a pre-built shopping cart or build your own. Now, if you have a good in-house team, we've built our own, but we had a very good in-house team to do that. However, quite honestly, I believe today that there's so many great software providers, I would not spend the time to build your own at the moment.
Shipping problems and loss of material on shipment? What is the best courier service you have used?
Right. See, there's no one single courier company that can fulfill all your shipping requirements. So we have also tied up with 6-7 courier companies, right from Blue Dart to Sequel to Aramax to, even we use Speed Post for very interior locations where these courier companies do not go, because each of them have their own expertise. Someone might be good in some locations. Some logistic provider are very expensive. For example, Sequel, they could be $700-800 per shipment. So you cannot do a fashion jewelry worth $1,000 with them, because they send it through a secured vehicle. So you have to basically spread your relationship with many logistic companies and optimally select courier company based on the location, the value of the product, and the various other parameters. And there are also a lot of paperwork needed to ship to, let's say, eastern part of India or some specific locations. So there's expertise really varies by courier company, and no one is able to fulfill all the solutions yet.
As a small retailer, you would have a very hard time, especially in India, with the whole delivery mechanism. Like Deepak is saying, Gitanjali is huge, obviously. So for them, doing that paperwork, getting that product out is much easier. For a small, and that's one of the reasons why we did not enter, right? We did not want to take on those. See, in America, we still have options, and the paperwork is very less. We use multiple courier companies, different reasons, same reasons as Deepak's describing, but it's easier. Here, it's much harder.
But I want everyone to take away from this panel, this discussion today, is that jewelry is still a very good area to be in. From his conversation, it might sound like it's not possible to deliver anything here. No, that is not true. There are a lot of options. Things will come back to the international norms slowly and slowly. But you want to get online today, you want to be there, you want to get your category set up, you want to be a player in that category. But it will take a little bit of time because India is not at that level of international delivery or payments. But slowly and slowly, what we are seeing, and that's the reason we're launching in the next 6 months, is that this is the right time to be in it, and slowly you will learn the ins and outs of the games. A little bit of perseverance will take, but you will at the end be very happy being in India. Thank you for staying for this panel, and we'll have the next panel coming on in about...
Yes. Thank you, Amit. Thank you, Deepak.
Thank you, guys.